going on, y'all? You already know what it is. It's the bearded one. You already know what we talking about today. Shelby GT 350. Something we've been waiting for a long time. Or does this mark the return of the muscle car? You know what it is. Stay tuned.
Drop the clutch, hit the gas. Rally Radio, where the fast life meets the fast lane.
Yeah.
You're now tuned into Bars and Hoops Radio.
Yeah.
The world of hip-hop and sports live.
Dropping the clutch and then I hit the gas. Wheels screeching, tires burning, I'm flying past. Gotta get home quick, don't wanna miss the class. They schooling you on whips and how to make them fast. Talking about everything from cars to planes. What's hot, what's next, and how to flip the game. They talk in my language, we speak the same. That whip talk complex, but yet they keep it plain. From the news, the interviews, they keep it cool. They give reviews, everything from parts to tools. Can't lose, come to whips, they not no fools. Don't miss the show, the start time is noon. The bearded one, S.I Shawn, they crazy though. You can't miss it, tune in to Rally Radio.
Where the fast life meets the fast lane.
What's going on, y'all? Woo, 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 woo. You know what it is. It's the bearded one here, man. Rally Radio in the building. Shout out to everybody who's tuned in, paying attention. You know how we get down, man. Oh, man, one heck of a week last week, man. It got crazy for me last week. So, just to get into it a little bit before we jump into our little topic that we have going on right here, like I said, it's a Shelby GT 350. Does this start the return of the American muscle car? We're going to see. Had one heck of a week trying to get in here last week, man. Just to get into it a little bit. Everybody knows I have a 2019 Civic Type R, right? So, you know, right now it's not under warranty, except for certain things. Let's say if you blow an engine or whatever, I guess, right? So I called myself last week, not even last week. I had started a little while ago. Shout out to my guy, Raheem Owens. Appreciate that like. Don't forget, drop a like, drop a comment so we can shout you out. So I call myself fixing the brakes. And not for nothing, it's not my first time ever changing brake calipers, changing rotors, pads. Simple job, right? But unfortunately, because it has an electric parking brake, this thing changes everything. Now, obviously, I did my homework. You know, I seen a couple things, read a couple things on forums. I'm a member of a lot of different Civic Type R groups that talk about doing these kind of things that they call. Shout out to everybody who's tuned in, paying attention. Shout out to my guy Camacho in the building early. He said that was your mistake right there. You bought a Honda. Oh, he taking shots. Shout out to my guy Brown Hornet. He tuned in as well. Appreciate everybody. So I start to work on the car, right? Take the rear tires off or whatever, inspect them. Pads are done. So I take the pads, and you know what? I bought some new rotors, so I'm going to change the rotors too. So now you know it's a little bit more intensive because I got to take the caliper off. First and foremost, anybody who owns any kind of car and you do any kind of work to it, and you call yourself taking that little screw out the rotor, they should just burn that. It's ridiculous. But I ended up doing it, taking the screw out of the rotor. It took forever. I had to drill the screw out. Long story short, change the rotors, change the pads, assemble everything back. And right when I go to test the emergency or the electric parking brake, it give me all kind of warning signs. And so I figured I'd be able to figure this out, whatever. So apparently it's releasing, but it has to be calibrated. And I believe only Honda could do that. So now I got to take the car all the way to Honda. So shout to me for actually giving it a shot. It is what it is. You can't pay him to fix everything. But this is why I love, and this part of what I was talking about, that's why I love working on older cars. Because at the end of the day, it's so much more simple and it's more straightforward. The more they try to incorporate a lot of these electronics, and the reason they put the electric parking brake on the cars, they said because they wanted to save space and make more space in the console so you have more space to put more stuff. I don't know. I'd have rather deal with a regular emergency parking brake, but it is what it is. Shout out to everybody who's tuned in, paying attention. Don't forget, drop a like, drop a comment so we can shout you out. My guy Camacho, he said, new cars, they don't want you to service them. That's a fact. Right now, the biggest thing right now, if nobody knows, is your right to repair law. Your right to repair is under scrutiny right now in the House. A lot of people don't know that, but A lot of these car companies trying to stop you from definitely working on your own auto. Shout to everybody who's tuned there paying attention. Don't forget, drop a like, drop a comment so we can shout you out. They want you to go to the dealer. That's a fact. It looks like I'm going to the dealer anyway. I wonder if there's a way that I could calibrate this thing without going, but I doubt it. So I'm going to give it one more shot. I'm set up to go to the dealer Monday, February 3rd. So we'll see how that goes, and I'll let y'all know. But in the meantime, shout to my guy, Reeves. My guy, Reeves, man. I know he like, you know what I mean? Shout to Camacho. He said, like Tesla, they want everything in-house. That's a fact. I think that's the problem that I really have with it. But like I said, I ended up doing the work myself, and it didn't pan out that way. I'm going to try a couple other things to see if I can calibrate it on my own. If not, I do have something set up for the dealership on February. But shout to everybody who's rocking with us, man. Appreciate y'all early. You already know what it is. Shout to Camacho. He said a mechanic other than the dealer probably has the equipment. I believe you. I might be able to find somebody because I really don't want to go back to them. You know, and they had the nasty attitude when I was telling them what it was. It was like, oh, it's a parking brake, huh? Okay. You know what that means. Sounds like they already, yeah. They're like, yeah, we're going to go in them pockets, brother. Come on down. But shout out to everybody who's tuned in, paying attention, man. This is Rally Radio. You are in the building with me. Saturdays, 12 noon. You know where to find us. With that being said, we jumping right in. I wanted to talk about this today because just to get into it a little bit, everybody knows, you know, what's going on in politics and automaking right now. Big stage right now because of the EV mandate. And now it looks like that EV mandate is abolished. We don't know what's going to happen to it, or at least we do know. But where does this leave the automakers? But in the midst of all of that, we have a 2025 Shelby GT 350 Mustang. Now, this was not built by Ford. It was built by Shelby, even though it is on the Ford platform. So let's shout out to them for that. But at the end of the day, just looking at it, and, you know, I believe it hit really to the media yesterday. I've been talking about it for a little while, but it hit to the media the other day. And I got to say, you know, I'm shocked at a lot of the car guys that's out here, man. Like, I really am. Like, I like, don't get me wrong. You know, we always going to be that way when it comes to looking at cars. We look at cars with a different kind of eye than most people. You know what I mean? Because we car guys, car girls, whatever you want to call it. We love autos. You know what I mean? Shout to
drivers etiquette.
But at the same time, we got to start really looking at these things. So let's just look at the car a little bit. I wish I had a picture I could post up here so y'all could see. But it's been away 5 years already. S650 Ford Mustang. That's using the 650 style. All right. Talking about 810 horsepower supercharged. Right. To be honest with you, it's not an ugly car. Like my co-host that used to be here with me, shout out to S.I Shawn, he would say all the time, you know, it's not the ugliest car, whoever created it, you know, but ultimately, you know, we're going to talk about the car a little bit. So it's a GT350 supercharged V8 putting out 810 horsepower Whipple supercharger. I think the sticker price is really what throw a lot of people off, right? It looks like the sticker price is going to be $109,000 or $110,000 altogether. So now when you look at it like that, $110,000 for a Shelby GT 350 supercharged V8 putting out 810 horsepower. Now that's not bad. Obviously the supercharger makes all the power, right? But a lot of people are kicking a lot of dirt on this car. And this is why I really wanted to start off with this. Shout to Brown Horn. That's exactly what I said. I'm like, that's a lot of power. It is what it is. But I will say, right? So I started running into a lot of the different YouTubers that was actually talking about it and watching their channels. Shout to all of the YouTube channels, by the way. Shout to all of them because they all have a different perspective. And I just wanted to talk about mine a little bit. So my thing is, this could be the return of something. Now, let's be honest here. Let's look at the landscape a little bit, right? For the past 4 years, or even a little bit, past 4 years since we had a different president. Shout to come out. See, that's another thing. It is under warranty. We talking about a supercharged V8 under warranty. That's really a big deal, in all honesty. But at the end of the day, we had a point where it looked like we were staring down the barrel of everything being electric. And I'm going to get into this a little bit. Outside of the Shelby GT350, like I said, supercharged V8, standard manual transmission, for those that want to know. It's nothing really different from a Ford Mustang other than the supercharger, other than them trying to badge it and, who knows what else that they really have in store for it. But this is the first of many. From what I understand, they're only putting out 562 of them, and they're going to have another run of a Shelby GT350R. Now, the GT350R is the one. That's the one. That's the one that we really, really want to see. But we all know that we've seen cars that Ford has made, the Dark Horse and all these other kind of like Ford Mustangs and things like that. And like I said, this wasn't produced by Ford. It's produced by Shelby on Ford's platform, like they normally been doing. You know what I mean? But I just feel like we got to really, 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 really be smart about how we disparage some of these cars, because ultimately they're going to sell them, right? I believe, like I said, they're coming out with 562 of these of the first run. And then I believe the Shelby GT350R is only going to be 36 of them. So you already know that it's going to have a high price tag in order to really get your hands on it. But I just don't like, and I used to, we when I had my co-host here, we used to argue about this all the time. There comes a point where, these guys are under more scrutiny just for putting out a lot of these cars. Let's be honest here, right? We already see that the Dodge Charger Hellcat is gone. And look at Tim Kuniskis now trying to do the best he can to steer people into buying these electric EV Dodge Chargers, which ain't happening, by the way, because they ugly, and I know I'm speaking the truth. I don't care if you rocking me, right? I think sometimes we got to really look at it and understand from a business standpoint. There's a lot of people like, oh, well, it's going to be 110,000. Then don't buy it. Then don't buy it. You already know this kind of car is not necessarily for everybody who's a super gearhead. It's not for that. It's for those that actually like cars. They want to go but so far. They don't want to get into engine swaps and doing all of this bigger pulley, smaller pulley tuning. They don't want to get into all of that. They just want to have a Shelby GT350 manual that they can drive and like to drive. Right? Now, one of the videos that I saw, the guy was really comparing it to a car that you would tune. Well, you know what? You could buy this, and then do this, and do that. Next thing you know, you saved yourself 10 grand. But did you? And that's really what I wanted to get into today, because when it comes down to fixing and tuning on your vehicles, we already know it's never that easy. And I can tell you because I wasn't here last week. And that's exactly what happened to me, man. I caught myself doing this thing, and look at this. It turned into something else. So we got to start thinking about that. Now, this Shelby GT350, I'm not saying I want to run out and buy it, but we already know that there's people out there that's going to buy them. But there's other cars coming down the line. But we got to keep in mind, man, the automakers been having to play this tightrope between the EV mandate and between gas-powered cars. And we're not just talking about America. We're talking about worldwide. Worldwide. They've been having it from Europe to America. I know the other countries probably a little bit more easier, like let's say Mexico, things like that. But they've been having to struggle this game. So if Shelby decides to come out with something like this, like I said, I'm not going to sit here and say buy it. It's up to you. But we can't disparage the autos, man. We can't do that. That's one thing I don't like. You feel what I'm saying? Shout to my guy Reeks tuning in. He said, never easy to build your own car. Sometimes it's better to pay the money and save your sanity. Exactly. A lot of people feel that way. So when you hear Shelby GT350, yeah, maybe they could, you could buy another Whipple Supercharger 3.8, put some bigger headers on it, and it's never that easy. It is never that easy. Coming from a car guy, it is never that easy. So if a lot of people just want to pick up they little Shelby GT350 V8 manual and take it out on a road trip, just let them. But I just don't sometimes it's like splitting hairs when it comes to cars. You feel what I'm saying? We got to make sure that we mindful of that, man. We got to make sure because they've been having to jump hoops. And like I said, Rally Radio is a little different. We're not sitting here. We're not saying we're not car guys or that we don't like to get into the gear, or engine swaps or things like that. But sometimes you just got to look at the car and say, that's what it is. Because I'm going to be totally honest with you. If I'm going to get a car to do all of that, I'm going to go. If I got it, first off, we're talking if you got 100,000. And that's another thing. A lot of dudes, they could pay 100,000 for a car, but that's over time. We're not talking about somebody that's going there with 100,000. Now you're talking about building a race car for 90,000 when you only got 20, 30 to drop down. This is the kind of stuff I'll be talking about. Oh, you could buy this and do that. It's never that easy. With that being said, the Shelby GT 350, it is what it is. 110,000, supercharged V8, manual, period. Take that into consideration. Shout out to my guy Camacho. He said, I'm lucky I got $100. That's what I'm talking about. It's not easy. It's not easy. Shout out to, he said, never easy to build your own car. Like you said, it's never that easy. Look, I was just changing brakes, and I ran into one screw that turned the job from a 20-minute job to a day job because I had to go buy drill bits and drill the screw out, back it out of the hub. It was ridiculous. And that's one thing that I can't stand. Shout to come on. He said, then how much insurance going to run? So I'm glad that you brought that up because we got a lot of things we're going to be talking about today, man. We got a lot of things we're going to be talking about today. Looks like Texas is suing Allstate because they was using apps to track your data and raise your insurance. That's one thing. It's going to definitely get interesting in here today. Shout to my guy, SP the Dawn in the building. No Audi slander. I can't front. I can't promise you that. Yeah, I'm playing around. I'm messing around. But I will say, however, we just got to really keep that in mind. So like I said, the fact that it's coming manual, the fact that it's a supercharged V8, yes, it's expensive. That's up to you if that's your flavor. But at the end of the day, we gotta give these automakers a little bit more room. You know what I mean? Because they really had to dance the tightrope. And like I said, Chevy didn't take away they V8. They ended up doing the C8 Corvette, ZR1. They did you name it, Z06. They've been able to still keep it pushing. Ford has done the same, even though at one point they started to dwell them down. And I believe the Ford Mustang Mach-E was one of the worst things they could have did in their whole history. But it is what it is. Shout out to my guy Reeves. He said insurance probably not going to be bad. It's a collector cost. So collector insurance is probably going to be $1,400 a year for $100,000 in coverage. And shout out to SP. He said insurance is a scam. I'm paying a stack for 3 cars. Where I live, when are we doing this class action? I mean, first off, Texas has already got it popping, and we're going to get into that a little bit. Shout out to my guy Simeon. What's going on, kid? What it is? He said that's grown ass right. That's what I'm saying. You can't, listen, 810 horsepower in the hands of a minor or whatever is crazy. But most people, like I said, if this is for people probably 50 and better, 55 and better, that's not going to be sliding on the floor of a garage trying to change a header on this thing. They're not doing it. You feel what I'm saying? So let's just keep that in mind. Now, like I said, they're going to be coming out with a GT350R, which is going to accompany. It's going to be even more exclusive. They're only building 36 of them, and it looks like the brand is going to be returning to Trans Am Racing in 2026. That ought to be interesting too. And the GT350R is going to be a street legal version of the Trans Am car. We already know it's pretty much like how they do with most race cars. You know what I mean? They release a homologation version or whatever so that they can make sure that they can race it. I'm not sure if that's the thing with this, but I just feel like it's good enough. I don't know if 410,000, but like you said, it's a collector's car. We're not talking about a regular Ford Mustang you could buy from the Ford dealership. You know what I mean? But I definitely got to say, to me, they've been dancing so long around all of these politics and politicians and things like that. If this is what they felt they could do, let them do it, because I can guarantee you in the next 4 years, because this EV mandate been rolled back, we're going to get some animals out here. And that I would guarantee. Yo, killing me with this. So with that being said, shout out to everybody who's tuned in, paying attention. We appreciate y'all early, man. It's the bearded one here. I rose dolo from state to state. We in the building. And with that being said, we're going to jump right into the show. We got a lot of things we want to talk to y'all about today. But it's Rally Radio, baby. You know how we get down, man. We here. We are in the building. So with that being said, like I said, I didn't make it here last week. I apologize. I called myself being a mechanic, and it did not work. I'm sorry. I tried it and it didn't work. I don't know what it was. I think actually when they add this electric brake to the cars, that just changes everything. I can't stand it. But shout out to my guy, SP the Don. He said, I always thought Mustangs had very powerful engines. The problem was always putting the power to the ground. And obviously, you know, we've all seen the videos and we laughed at them about Mustangs losing control, sliding into the crowd, you know, at the end of the day. And I think that is a big problem. I think it's a problem for a lot of rear-wheel drive cars. Very few of them really mastered it from dealer or mastered it from the automaker of putting the power to the ground. And how much power are we talking? Because once you start talking 7, 8, if they're not coming from the dealer with that, then you're going to have a problem. And it is what it is. You know what I mean? Shout out to my guy, Reeves. He said putting the power to the ground is an owner issue, not a product. Exactly. Shout out to my guy, man. Let's go. But that's what it is. Putting the power to the ground is, in fact, an issue. Shout out to my guy, come on. He said it doesn't happen with vet drivers. It's always a Ford. Ooh. Sound like he's taking a shot right there. He's taking a shot right there. You already know what it is. Shout out to everybody who's they're paying attention. Now, with the Shelby GT 350R, you got to look at it, you say to yourself, is this legendary? I mean, let's be honest here. It's a Shelby GT 350. Of course it is. We could knock how we could say, oh, you know, and not built like the cars of old automakers are getting away. Yeah, but it's still manual V8 supercharged. Come on. You know what it is. Shout to my guy, Dave, tuning in. You already know what it is. Shout to my guy, Dave. Don't forget to check him out on his show. First stop to the next stop, Mondays, 4:30 to 6:30. One of the greatest sports shows we have here on Rally Radio. Shout out to SP. Says shots is fired. It is what it is. Shots are fired. He said the Fords are the ones that had those problems. But now, is it worth the price? That remains to be seen, and that obviously is more a buyer question. Like, do you really feel like you want to pay $110,000? Me personally, no. I probably wouldn't spend $110,000 on this. I'll probably wait for the GT, the 350R, if I could get my hands on it. But you figure for $110,000, if I get my hands on an older 2015 GT 350R, I'm good. That is the one that everybody wants. And then when you look at it, you got to say to yourself, what makes the car so special? Just off the strength that it's from Shelby. Just off the strength. It's from Shelby. That's what makes it special. There's no way you can get around that. It is from Shelby, so it's definitely going to make itself special. With that being said, shout out to everybody who's paying attention. We are here in the building. Don't forget, drop a like, drop a comment so we can shout you out. That's just shout to my guy Reeves. He said, yeah, it's worth the price. It's worth the price. You're not Dodge Demons up there. You're right. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's what I'm saying. The Dodge Demon, there's cars up there that a lot of people are like, oh, I could build a better car. Yeah, you probably could. If you give me $100,000 and I drop it into another drag car, sure. But is that what you purchasing it for? No, it's not what you purchasing. So, you know what I'm saying? Shout to Reed said, yeah, it's worth the price. Dodge prices are up there. That's a fact. And not for nothing, now that Dodge done abolished that V8, the only way you're getting it right now is in a Hellcat Durango. So listen, they could have did that. They could have said, you know what, we ain't selling no more Mustangs. We just gonna have powerful we can sell an F-150 Raptor with that, and that's that. And could you imagine that? Boy, that would suck. There's nothing you can do about that, but that's crazy. That would suck. So with that being said, before we jump in, like I said, this is just my recap not really my recap, but this is my thoughts before we jump into the show. And another thing we're going to talk about here is my man Cobra Commander out here. Now, for those that don't know who I'm talking about your guy, not my guy. You're talking about Elon Musk. Elon Musk. He is wilding. He done hit cats with the Hail Hydra, and they don't know how to feel about it. Now, for those of you that don't know what I'm talking about, there was everybody knows that right now he's been running in Trump's campaign. He's going to be running this thing called DOGE, Department of Government Access, that he's going to make sure that they get rid of government access. And not for nothing, there's been a lot of chopping going on. And this is what I mean about politics intersecting with autos, right? So now you have Mr. Elon Musk over there, he during the inauguration speech, Trump's inauguration, he called himself getting up there and pretty much, I will not remake that motion because I don't want to be flagged 1-2. I think it's disrespectful. Shout to everybody who's tuned there paying attention. Shout to Jessica Grandy. She's in the building. So he hit him with the Hail Hydra. Y'all already know what it is. He hit him with it. And I'm talking from Captain America. That's probably the closest thing, Red Skull. But he hit him with the Hail Hydra, put his hands up, arm across chest. Now, he has come out and said that is not what he meant. He didn't mean to do that. I was only waving at the crowd. And I'm here to tell you, shout to SP. He said, we always laughed at Cobra Commander. Hell, I really did that. I told you. He wildin', son. This guy is hilarious. But he hit him with the Hail Hydra. They didn't like that, right? So now, the crazy part about it is that now, people are selling their Teslas. People are getting rid of their cars. And I think this is crazy. I mean, listen. Let's keep it a buck before we even go into the auto side of this, because you got a lot of people selling their Teslas now. Nah, I don't want the Tesla no more, just because off the strength of what he did, right? He's smarter than that. Let's keep it a buck here. He's smarter than that. He knows what he did was wrong. He knows that. Listen, at the end of the day, you mean to tell me this man is leading Fortune 500 companies and he does not know history? Y'all don't believe that. He knows what he did and he meant to do it. I don't care what nobody say. So now it's been all of this about giving him space and, don't hold him accountable. I could only imagine if somebody else did it. Shout to my guy Reeps. Said Obama did it. Kamala did, Taylor Swift, nobody bats an eye. Elon does it, everyone loses their mind. I never seen Obama, Kamala, none of them do it the way he did, Reeps. I don't know what you're talking about right there. The way he slapped his chest and held his hand out there. And see, I'm gonna tell a lot of cats. There's a lot of things that one thing I do love to do is research history. And social studies and economics was one of my favorite subjects when I was in school. Because whatever you don't know in your history, you're doomed to repeat it. You know what I mean? Like, this guy is crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, there was so many different, like when he did that, if you didn't know your history, you didn't know where it came from, what it came, you just seen people get mad. And they're saying all kind of things. Oh, he didn't mean, he's smarter than that, y'all. He's smarter than that. He downplayed it. He trying to downplay it. But at the end of the day, we already know what it is. But the reason I brought it up is because you got a lot of people out here now like, oh, I can't support somebody like that, and I'm selling my Tesla. I find that hilarious. That, to me, is hilarious. But, I mean, at the end of the day, what are you really going to do? Starting to see a lot of bumper stickers. I seen one the other day. It was on a Tesla, too. Anti-Elon Musk Club. I don't even know what that. Yo, it's crazy how a lot of people are like gonna try to spin this and play this. I've seen people saying I bought this before I knew. Like it's ridiculous out here. Just listen to some of these people, some of the issues just on social media alone. I bought my Tesla in 2021. I hate Elon Musk and I'll never support Tesla again. I love my Tesla, but I will be discussing it with my wife tonight if we just sell or keep it. That's hilarious because if you got to discuss it, that's crazy. It's your car, bro. I don't know, but it's like when you look at a lot of this stuff, you see it coming. Like I said, this is just my thoughts before we get into the show. I just can't believe that he did that. And we talking about we ain't talking about he did this at a bunch of reporters walk into his car or something. He did this at the presidential inauguration. Let's reiterate that. He did that at a presidential inauguration. And nobody said, oh, yeah, that's nothing. Nobody got crazy. I'm surprised. Well, not really. But just got to pay attention to this guy, man. He's Cobra Commander. I'm telling you. Cobra. He's Cobra Commander, kid. This guy don't play. Hit him with the Hail Hydra. And another thing is, if he knew so many people was offended by what he did, why didn't he at least release a statement? He ended up just saying that he tried to downplay it. And I find that to be even more disrespectful than what he did. He said on his own X, he said, liberals and legacy media propaganda. Frankly, they need better dirty tricks. The everyone is Hitler attack is so tired. Come on, bro. Come on. I'm telling you, you got to really pay attention to a lot of the things that's going on out here. I'm telling you, a lot of these guys, now they're in positions of power. We've been talking about this guy for a long time. He does a lot of things underhanded that a lot of people be like, oh, but remains to be seen. Shout out to everybody who's tuned in, paying attention, man. We are here. We are in the building. With that being said, we're going to jump right into our weekly specs. We got a lot of things going on here today, but it's definitely going to be a good show, man. Like I said, I apologize I wasn't here last week, but it's going to be good. So with that being said, let's get to it.
Weekly specs. Auto news for all the listeners, only on Rally Radio.
All right, we are here. This is our weekly specs. We are in the building. Shout out to everybody who's tuned in, paying attention. We are here in the building. With that being said, it's been getting more, like I said, it's been getting more and more interesting outside. A lot of things going on, and we got a lot of things we're going to talk about today. I will say this, though. When it comes down to a lot of the different autos that we see, we just, like I said, we just got to be real mindful. But we're going to get into a lot of this different stuff. It looks like the Acura RSX is coming back, but not as you think. It's coming back as an electric vehicle. Could I please? I don't understand what they doing here. Why? Looks like Acura is going to bring back the RSX. Now, for those that don't know, the RSX was actually brought to America. It was an American version of the Integra. When they called it Integra in Japan, they called it RSX. So in America, this was the two-door manual, let's say sports coupe, rather, that we all love, man. Came with the K20. If you got one manual, you was making a little bit of noise. I remember I seen a very, very clean one. And it actually won show in Honda Day. And I remember seeing it then, and I was like, "Oh man, I really like this car." It's a beautiful, especially manual front wheel drive. Obviously, like I said, introduced the K series to us, was definitely making a lot of power. K20A2, definitely you got the Type S. Type S is right now going for a nice little piece of change, but it looks like they're gonna be SUVs now, and I feel like, how did they do that? How did they convince themselves to do that? You know what I say?
It's suicide.
You want to kill that car if that's the case. But then again, like I said, we got some people that's buying these electric cars, but let's just get into it a little bit. It looks like the Prologue is based on the Chevy Blazer EV. Now, for those that don't know, that's Honda's actual EV that they do have, right? But it looks like the next crossover, like we said, is going to be the RSX. The RSX nameplate returns the Acura brand and our next generation RSX with its coupe like silhouette, and it truly represents a forward-looking approach to fun and drop performance. They are serious. They're talking about this thing looks like a coupe. It's a four-door. What are we, stupid? Come on.
It's suicide.
So with that being said, RSX begins its real-world testing phase. Acura also unveiled the new EV's design, which wears unique camouflage wrap. I wish I had pictures to show you, but the pictures will be on Rally Radio Podcast, Instagram. You already know where to find us, but definitely going to be interesting. I just don't understand why they would do that. And the reason I keep hitting them is because it usually is. Once you do that, once you take, I mean, we've seen cars do that. We've seen a lot of automakers take cars of old, and we talked about this. They take legends of old and they bringing them back as electric vehicles. This hasn't really worked. It hasn't really worked. The Dodge Hornet, look at that. Oh my goodness. That right there should just be an answer all in itself. They can't give them Dodge Hornets away. That is hilarious. Then you got to look at the Ford Mustang, the EV Mustang. Come on. I don't know what or Ford EV Mach-E. Ford Mustang Mach-E. That is an ugly car. What are we doing? Like, you could see that when you start giving these EV cars legendary names, it's like you throw people off with that. Like, they don't even want nothing. They don't want to be involved. They like, nah, they don't want it. So I wonder why Acura is calling itself to do that. But they are. I'm shocked, but they are actually doing this to themselves. I don't know if this is a smart move. They have so many different names they could use, but then I looked into rather what it takes to come up with a name for a car. It's not as easy as we think. It's not, which is why a lot of them do revisit some of these older car names. Like, they got to go through all kind of paperwork and branding it and, labeling it. They got to all kind of stuff. They got to get it passed through the government, and the name got to be ran through for LLC. It's ridiculous. So I see why they go back to brands that they already own. I just don't know why they would do this. And this is the second one that they're coming out with. I just don't know why they want to go this route like that. Because I feel like it's not really a good thing. You're going to have people that's going to disparage it. They came out with the Acura Integra Type S. And you know what? Not for nothing. I feel like that car's not getting a lot of love, even though for me, I think it's actually great. It's got everything that the Type R has, with just a little bit more comfortability. But I just don't understand why a lot of people won't jump to it, but it just doesn't make a lot of sense. I feel like Acura was smarter than that too, but then again, we not in the boardrooms. I'm only here. It's Rally Radio. You know where to find us. It is what it is. I'm definitely not in those rooms, but if they would give me a call, I'll help them out. You know what I'm saying? But with that being said, we're going to keep it moving. It looks like Lexus is stopping. They're sending off the V8 powered RCF with a final edition model. Now, this I don't like. This hurts me actually, because this is another V8 coupe that's going to be gone. And we losing, and this is what I mean. We got to really, really relish these cars. Now, when they came out with this car, right, with the V, I'll never forget it. Riding my Suzuki GSX-R 1000, right? And I'm on the Belt Parkway. And, like I said, we remain lane with how fast we was going. You know what I mean? We're going to keep that quiet. But as I'm riding my motorcycle, I look over and I see one of these RCF Lexus coupe. Nice. And I was like, wow, man, I looked at it like it was a beautiful car. And let me tell you, he stomped on the gas and took off.
Shifting gears.
I couldn't believe it. I was like, wow, thing is really quick, but they are high priced. That's the only thing. Shout to my guy, Sean Parker, tuned in. Let's go. That's what I'm talking about, man. Shout to my guy, Sean Parker. I see you out there, my dude. And I mean, the car I was really impressed. Now, when you see a lot of, I feel like the front grille and everything like that, a lot of people really just wasn't rocking with it. But we already know 5-liter V8, 479 horsepower, 395 foot-pounds of torque right there. I'm good. The only thing is that obviously it came automatic. A lot of people wasn't rocking with it because of that. But I mean, this is one of those kind of situations where I say if the car came like that, if there was a manual option, I can see you getting upset about it. But if it's not, it's still a nice car. I just don't understand how a lot of people didn't rock with it. I feel like it never got its true status. And you know how we do as car guys. We won't buy one brand new, but 5-10 years from now, or let's say 3-4 years from now when they cancel it, all of a sudden this is going to be the car that everybody wants, which I never understand. We had a show about that too. If you get a chance, check it out. Why do we always want things after they came? Why do we do that? Is it because we want to sit back and look at the research? And this is why a lot of these cars don't get built, but I will digress. Let's get to this. So, the car was capable of 0 to 60, 4.5 seconds, Brembo brakes, F-Tune adaptive sport package, variable suspension, rear diff. I mean, the car was really built, and they not doing any more of them. So it looks like this is it. You know what I mean? So with that being said, you know how we get down. We like to give a moment of silence for the Lexus RCF. And the final edition is going to come to the United States, the one that we're talking about. $94,000 price tag, though. Again, that's what I'm saying. It's a Lexus, though. We got to remember that. But it is going to be pricey. I mean, to me, it's just, I hate to see cars like this go. Because this is the fun cars. You have your collector car in the back. You have your true sports car for the Sunday drives. And then you have a car like this that you just love driving around town all the time. That's what this car represents to me. It reminds me of the SC430. I don't know if a lot of y'all know what it is. Y'all car people. The SC430 to me was one of the greater two-door coupes that I can remember. Convertible hardtop, 8, beautiful car. And a lot of people just didn't rock. I feel like Lexus hasn't been getting the crowd participation that they used to. And I think a lot of that has to do with, obviously, it being on the higher end. But, man, if you're trying to tell me that Lexus SC430 is not beautiful, I would have to ask you what you think beautiful is. Because that car, and it's another car that really, it didn't really grab. But now you try to find one and they not selling them or they bought up. So, just a very interesting thing. It looks like it had a good run. 10 years, 90,000 units across 62 countries and regions. But I just hate to see him go, man. I hate to see him go. So with that being said, how we get down. We just give him a moment of silence. Shout to my guy, Shy. He's tuned in. Said the SC430 is still a great look compared to the SC400 was a big jump. Yeah, it was a big jump. Lexus was putting out them V8 coupes. Woo! They was putting out them V8 coupes. You've seen a lot of other car companies. They kind of like, they did it, but Lexus did it and kept it clean, but kept it performance. I will say, definitely one of those kind of cars that you would hate to see go, because it'd be great to just have as a pickup. You know what I mean? Something that you just picked up and you bought and you enjoy driving. As a matter of fact, I can't front. Even I was looking for one of these at one point, but I can't lie, man. I did just go for the Type R and the Hellcat. Those are the two places where I was at, but everybody know what I ended up with. But like I said, man, hate to see this car go. But like I said, before we go, let's just give it a moment of silence real quick. Lexus RCF. All right, we back. You already know what it is. Shout out to my guy, Shaw. He said, did the hard top on that 400 body, it would have moved units. That's a fact. Maybe if Lexus made more models tailored toward drivers and enthusiasts, they would increase their overall sales. Now, see, that's what I mean. At the end of the day, I believe that they didn't remember. Lexus is their high-end brand. They like we talked about this. Like when you look at a lot of Lexus cars, right? And like I said, this is the thing about history. When you look at Lexus as a brand in itself, when they brought that brand to America, it was so much research and development that went into the cars that they was bringing over here. I can understand why they wasn't putting out a super performance version. I understand, because that's not the market they was shooting for with Lexus. You know what I mean? They wasn't shooting for that market with Lexus. It was more like a high end. And a lot of high-end cars, big engines, comfortable interior, rear-wheel drive, but with a lot of different nannies and things that help you if you lose control of the car. So even when you look at the RC, it wasn't it, and that's the thing. It wasn't a full performance, super performance car, but it was just enough to enjoy driving. A lot like this Shelby GT 350 that I'm talking about. It was just enough to enjoy driving. Don't forget, drop a like, drop a comment so we can shout you out. Shout to everybody who's tuned in, paying attention. I will say, that's what it is. It's like you didn't buy this car because there's a lot of other cars you could have bought for that. You could have bought at this time. You could have bought an M5. You could have bought an M3. So if you bought a Lexus 5-liter V8, almost 500 horsepower, 400 pounds torque, then you really bought it because you didn't really want to get into all of that, but you just wanted to have the power to pack that punch. You feel what I'm saying? Shout out to my guy Tiny, tuned in. What's going on, kid? What it is? Shout out to Shy. He said Lexus doesn't have to cater to drivers. It was to fight the Germans. That's a fact. They made that car specifically to get into that market, into the Benz and the BMW market. And that, I said, if you do your homework, you'll find out. When they did that Lexus LS400, the real fight there was the fact that they were trying to put out a 4-door saloon with a big V8 that could challenge the BMW 740 IL at that time, and the SL or the 500 SEL or SL 500. No, not SL because that's the coupe, but S 500. Excuse me. But that's what it is. They put it out there just for that. So you got to look at it like that. When you see a lot of these cars disappearing and things like that, or when you see people like, oh, you know, they ain't put out a full performance version. They'll put it out, nobody buy it. And then they really want a lot of money for it. Look at the LFA. LFA, if for those that don't know, not too many people really own them. It's not that many in the world. You got they're expensive. 400,000. You talking about what Lamborghini did you walk by to pick up a Lexus? And that's the thing. Even though a car guy, we would, because we know things about that car that a lot of people don't know. But at the end of the day, it just was out of people's price range. You couldn't afford it. Shout out to SP. He said, that's exactly what I mean. Audi makes vehicles for everyone. I wouldn't say that either. Come on.
Keep the change, you filthy animal.
Come on. But with that being said, we got a call. Rally Radio, who we got in the box?
Yo, it's your boy Big J in the building.
Shout out to my guy Jay. What's going on, Jay? I knew when we started talking about Lexus, there was one person in particular that I was expecting to call, and you call. What's going on, man?
I think it's the sixth sense, you know. What's called the back was up in the sky, and I had to answer the call. You know how that is.
And I appreciate it. But now that you're here, this RCF is going away. What's your thoughts on that?
You know what? I'm sad about it.
Yes.
But I also understood. Because, first off, for those who do not know, in the F-car community, which is Lexus/Toyota's BMW M division,
yes,
if that makes sense for those, that is the only F-car left. There's no other car like that out there. Technically the LC 500, but it's not an F car.
Yeah.
Or the IS 500, same thing. It has the ingredients, but it's missing a bit more of that extra sauce, which is unfortunate. It is what it is. If you were to give me the keys to one of those, I'll take it because I like it. But it's sad that that's the last true F car that's out there. But that's just the way it is.
But do you?
It's good that it's been around for as long as it's been.
Exactly. That's what I'm talking about. Shout to Jay. So my thing is like you said, they could have really, literally been like, you know what? Nah, we're not making these no more. Like they have, but at least it ran for this long. I will say this though. Do you think they would have sold more if they had a dedicated performance version, or you think the F cars or you think if they had a manual option would they have sold more?
Well, see, here's the thing. If they had a manual, they probably would sell more. But the problem is, so when the RCF came out, that was during the time when Lexus and Toyota wasn't really messing with manuals.
Right.
It was like, and mind you, that RCF is this current RCF is the same RCF from way back in 2015.
Yes.
I would say it's the same. It's honestly the same car, same engine, same suspension setup. You just get slightly different interior options. You're not really getting nothing brand new. That engine is, I love the TUR engine, but sadly that engine is, that engine is as old as the ISF. So it's been around for a minute. We make the jokes about the VQs, but that's been around for a minute. But as far as it goes, though, listen, they had a good run for what it was. You know what? Hey, give me about 2 minutes. I'm going to call you guys right back.
All right, cool. All right, Jay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
All right. Let's go. Shout to my guy, Jay. He said he's going to call back. Got some information for us. But with that being said, we got to, I don't know. I'm always going to look at it like, you know what, man? It's a V8 powered coupe. And it was raw. Definitely a great car, man, in my opinion. But I just feel like, like a lot of these cars, they come and they go, and obviously the value is going to go up because, like SP, shout to SP. He said let Lexus stop making them. Everyone owes an RCF, the value is going to go up. That's a fact, and that happens all the time. Us car guys like to get cars secondhand for whatever reason. It happens. It is what it is. Maybe because we know it's not a killer on your pocket.
Give me your fucking money.
So with that being said, we're going to jump right into this next little thing we got going on here. It looks like Seinfeld, Jerry Seinfeld. So for those that don't know, Jerry Seinfeld, along with Jay Leno, is one of the biggest car collectors that we've seen in our lifetime. Now, there's obviously some that we probably don't know about, some Baron or some Knight or whatever in some other country, or some chic that has cars in a basement that we'll never see. But as far as what we know, Seinfeld and Jay Leno are two of the biggest car collectors that we know in America. So it looks like Jerry Seinfeld was recently petitioned to sell, not petitioned, but was asked to sell, or was given a price of $25 million for a Porsche 917 that was driven by Steve McQueen in Le Mans, and he turned it down. Wow.
Give me your fucking money.
So here's my thing with that. Now, every car guy can understand this because obviously Jerry Seinfeld don't need the bread. But we're talking about a car that was driven by Steve McQueen in Le Mans. And in 2000, it sold for $1.32 million. And it looked like now they want to offer him, and we talking about 25 years later, they talking about they want to offer the man $25 million. Like, that is a lot. And you know what? It just really brings me back to what I was saying before as far as autos are concerned, right? Before, a lot of times when you bought a car like this or whatever, oh, it's a waste of money. And listen, a lot of people are coming out on top. You figure it appreciated $1 million for every year? It appreciated $1 million, not $25 million? And Jerry Seinfeld turned it down. No, I'm not selling my car, he says. Now, like I said, every car guy can understand that because, listen, if you don't need the paper, I can't sell it. It's like you, in your head, your cars are like your children, and it happens. You know what I'm saying? You're like, yo, you know what? It's mine. I don't care. I'm not getting rid of it. You got to look at yourself and say, man, $25 million, though? That's a lot of bread. And not for nothing, like I said, this Porsche 917 was actually driven by Steve McQueen in Le Mans. So it was actually a movie. Rally Radio, we got in the box.
Yes, sir. Sorry about that. Duty call.
It's all good. So now,
yes. So,
go ahead.
Oh, no. I was going to say, like, what you were talking about, the
Lexus,
the cancellation.
Right. So now with the RC version, right? So now my thing is, it still was a great car. Let's be honest. It still was a great car. Why do you think Lexus is canceling it now, though?
It's only because of the fact that, well, unfortunately, it's low sales numbers. Those low sales numbers basically kind of add up to the fact that a lot of those cars are they don't sell as much as, like, other platforms, unfortunately. So,
right. And this is what I mean. This is what I mean. Like, this is one of the reasons why, and like I said, I talked about this early on in the beginning of the show. The Shelby GT 350 is $110,000. A lot of people are like, oh, you could buy this for $20,000, put this engine in it, and then do this supercharge and all of this. But at the end of the day, a lot of people don't want to slide up under the car, and it's never that easy. Me and you both know that, right, Jay? It's never that easy when you're talking about buying a car, dropping the engine, doing it. No, right?
Of course. So the other thing is, I was going to add to it, right? Mm-hmm. The RCF is technically the last Japanese muscle car out there.
Yes.
If you think about it, there is no other Japanese V8 out there. Even though, yes, should it have came with a manual? Well, of course, but the transmission that we have now is on par with the ZF. It may not be the best. It might not be as lightning quick as these new ones, but it does what it does.
Right. But my thing is, like you said, a lot of people but was that their market? Their market wasn't performance. Their market was luxury.
Performance, and that's the thing.
It was luxury. Now this was a performance version. No, well, I mean, I didn't say performance. It was a tuned version. Because at the end of the day, the car, they have other Lexuses that came with V8s, but at the end of the day, this one was slightly tuned more. It was not a hardcore car as far as like we've seen them put out. And when I say that, I mean Toyota. At the end of the day, you got to look at it and say it wasn't their market. It just wasn't what they was doing. I totally understand.
And you got to think it wasn't. You know what it is? Also, it's the fact that it also wasn't. You're going to get give them credit. They went against the big German 3, and they went after them for a minute.
Yes.
They went after them for a minute because I mean, like what other car is about to go ahead and what other brand from Japan, right, isn't about to go ahead and take on like the M's, the RS's, the AMGs even.
You're right. There was no Benz. It was Lexus. Look, Lex Beamers and Benz. They got us even in the hood with that. You know what I'm saying?
So it's a product of its time. To answer your other question though, will there have been a manual one? So for a minute, while they're making that new 4-cylinder, which that's going to be a beast.
Right. The 2-liter right. For Toyota,
that 2-liter, yeah. It basically, and if anyone doesn't know about it, so I've been really following that engine. The best way to describe it is if you know how potent the 3-cylinder is. Yes. All they did was just say, "Hey, let's give him one more cylinder."
It's ridiculous, and we already know that the 3-cylinder engine you're talking about is the one that's in the Yaris and the GR Corolla. Yep. Damn near bulletproof. Look like you could freaking drag it out and shoot it, and you couldn't crack the block. But go ahead.
Exactly, and all they did was just increase the displacement, add an extra cylinder, and then I mean, mind you, if you think it's crazy, I mean, they literally said, "Hey, we're trying to make something to succeed the 2JZ."
Yes,
they get in-house, and I mean, it's a big deal if you look at how big that it's a factory turbo. Look at how massive that thing is.
That's a fact. I will say this though, however, when it comes down to Toyota in general, like I said, to me they're the only ones that still keeping it real. It looks like Porsche's EV9, the EV Boxster and the EV718 they were supposed to be coming out with is in limbo, which is great. We want it to stay that way. You know what I'm saying? They can have them. We don't want to see those.
Keep that change, you filthy animal.
But now I want to talk to you about this Jerry Seinfeld thing right here. It looks like Jerry Seinfeld has a Porsche 917 that was used in the movie Le Mans and was driven by Steve McQueen. They wanted to give him $25 million. When he first bought it, it was $1.32 million. The big question is, why is it that our cars could be worth thousands, hundreds, whatever more? Why do we hold on to them? Why would you hold on to your car if somebody offered you double right now?
If they offer me double, well, I mean, it's like what one of my friends said. Everything has a price. There's a number for everything.
Everything has a price. So why you think Seinfeld is not getting rid of this car?
It's you know what? So it could be a whole bunch of things. I mean, if you want to be really, if it's like from the heart, sentimental value, but if it's, like those types of collectors are just, they're in their own realm of like why they do what they do. Right. Like they probably see value in it. That's why. You know what I mean?
I don't know. I'm actually looking, like when I see things like this, I always say it to myself, he's definitely a car guy. Definitely. You can, Seinfeld, like I said, Seinfeld, Jay Leno, these guys are really into the autos. I just find it crazy that he's like, listen, 25 million, he not letting it go. And we talking about it was more, like I said, more or less in a movie. It's like, but he's like, yo, he's not letting it go. I understand. I guess he's like, I don't need the money. I got enough money. And this is just something else that I have in my collection. This is very interesting to me, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's like asking the question to the. I'm sure you've seen, everyone out here has seen that post of the guy who put up the Pagani Zonda R and it's a real Zonda R, mind you.
Yes.
They put it up as a decorative piece in his apartment.
Yeah.
And it's like 1 out of 15 of them ever in the world, and like each one of them are over like $3 million a piece.
That's a stunt and a half. Anybody who's out here, if you got cars hanging from your ceiling and use their headlights as lights to light up the room, you are filthy rich.
Give me your fucking money.
I've seen stuff. I've seen that before. I've seen the car you talking about, but I saw he was hanging it from the ceiling and using the headlights as lights to light up the room. That is crazy. I'm not.
And, you know, and even at that point in time, you got to ask yourself: are they really a car head, or are they just flexing?
I think it's both. I would like to believe it's both, but see, that's the thing. And this is another thing that you start pointing out when you start to get the real expensive cars like this. There's a point when you cross a threshold where somebody's just buying it because it costs a lot, not necessarily because they're into autos or that they want to actually drive them. They're crossing a threshold. They're like, yo, you know what, man? I just got money. I'm gonna buy this. And I hate to see legendary cars end up in the hands of people like that. And we've had definitely a lot of understeers where they actually bought these cars, had no idea what they was doing with them, and now they smack them into a tree the first time they take it out their driveway. It's hilarious. It's like, how did you drive your Ford GT up a wall? I didn't know that if I dumped the clutch and then hit the gas at the same time that I was going to lose control of it. I don't never understand. But with that being said,
that sounds like everyone with a BMW M in New York right now. Oh, I said what I said.
It is what it is. It is what it is. Shots fired, man down. Let's go. Gotta say it. Because these BMW cats is wild. Yo, killing me with this. Every time I turn around, you see another video of them holding up traffic, doing all kind of crazy burnouts in the middle of the street, middle of the highway, which I can't understand why they do that and what's the benefit to that.
I saw one of them with I think it was like, are you talking about the orange one? I think it was like a competition pack.
Yeah, he was on the BQE.
Held up the belt walkway.
Come on.
Hey, held up the whole belt? Like, bro, do you not realize you could have just with the Floyd Bennett field?
See, that's my thing. It's like, they're making it bad on all of the car guys out here in New York. I mean, it's bad enough now. We got a speed limit that's 20 miles an hour. We got cameras everywhere. We got exhaust cameras. We got speed cameras. We got red light. I don't understand what's the infatuation with putting your car in the middle of the street and actually doing a burnout on the highway. And then the sad part is you see his homie with the camera, not no phone. You see him with the camera tape. Right. And I'm just like, who watching this? Like, and we got something. We got to understand a little later for that too.
That's like asking the question: who's out here watching those squeeze Benz videos? And I mean,
but people right now. People are. You got to see the amount of views. Like I went to this guy's channel, and when I just was looking at the amount of views he was getting. 1 million views, 2 million views. I'm like, no wonder he carrying on getting crazy out here, because at the end of the day, he getting views for running from police, doing donuts, burnouts in front of police, middle finger them and all of that. And that's why I'm like, at the end of the day, how much is it really costing him in court fees and stuff like that? He probably made more money. He probably came off. And now, because of what these kids respect, is legendary now. I just don't understand it. It is what it is. I try not to understand things like that.
What's funny is that so I know you guys got a show to go to.
Yeah.
What's funny is I'm surprised how New York's Eric Adams or Kathy Hochul, who hasn't made like their own version of GSP.
Why you say that?
As terrifying of a thought as that would be, but I'm surprised they haven't gone that far.
But you know what? They actually got bigger fish to fry right now. They got bigger fish to fry. This guy trying to stay out of jail, and she trying to be the governor again. So it's on. Trust me, it's on their list. It's on their list. But apparently, a lot of automotive guys just got to keep that in mind, man. Like, you are making it bad for the auto enthusiasts that are coming up behind you. Pause. It's like you making it bad for them. You know what I mean? Because what's really happening is you're really putting an eye on what we like to do. You know? And that's one thing I would say social media, video, it's really starting to open up the eyes of some of the things that we kept underground. So it's really a sad thing.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, you know.
It is.
It is what it is.
Right. It is what it is. With that being said, Jay, you already know what it is. We appreciate you early for calling in, as usual, on Sundays, man. We appreciate you. Thank you for dropping some of that knowledge when it comes to the Lexus community, because we know,
of course.
If you don't know, my man Jay, mean Lexus RC version. RCF, excuse me.
Oh, what's that RCF, man? It's an ISF?
ISF.
Is this correct?
Yeah. Still mean, though, but with that being said, you know where to find us, man. Yo, Jay, thanks for calling. We're going to get up with you.
Yes, sir.
All right, peace.
Yeah, you guys have a good one.
All right, later. Shout out to my guy, Jay, man. You already know what it is, man. Shout out to everybody who's paying attention. Don't forget the numbers at the bottom here, 516-206-0711. With that being said, we're going to jump right into this next little bit of autos intertwining with politics. This is where we really wanted to get today. California's air pollution waiver and the EV mandate are banned by Trump. Now, this is very interesting. Among the president's many executive orders were attacks on clean vehicle policies. Now, for y'all that don't know, when Trump was running for president, he honestly went out there and said, we're going to give out a dues to the oil companies, drill, baby, drill. So with that being said, it looks like a lot of the clean energy bills that they were trying to pass and the EV tax credit may be on the line. And now it looks like the EV mandate is being abolished. Now, the EV mandate, for those that don't know, was one of the most ridiculous things, in my opinion, that we were trying to go full EV by 2032. Then it went to 2035, where they feel like that we could go fully electric and have no more gas-powered cars. So what happened was it was very stringent for a lot of the automakers to make some of the numbers that they wanted. And this is how a lot of people make their money, like Tesla, things like that. People were buying, the companies were buying EV credits from Tesla just to keep up. So it looks like getting rid of the mandate, and that right there is not shocking to anybody that actually been watching this election or watching anything that's been going on in the United States. Trump already pretty much let it be known that this is what he's going to do. I am going to make sure that he get that this mandate is going to be gone. So it looks like, in my opinion, this could spell V8s coming back. And I'm just gonna put it out there. And this is why I said we gotta make sure that we give, like Shelby selling this GT350. There's gonna be other cars coming down the pipeline. And now you got to look at Dodge. And this is what I always what I never understood about Dodge. And Carlos Tavares, like, he was hell-bent on getting rid of the V8, talking about, we're going to move everybody into the future. But at the end of the day, I don't see why you would get rid of the V8 but then keep some of these other small cars. You might as well just get rid of those, fully electrify your SUVs that if people want them, they can buy them, and leave the V8. I just don't understand why he would do that. Like, you got rid of the cars that made the most money for these companies, Jeep, Dodge, Chrysler, and then told them that they got to make money. These were their biggest sellers. So it just didn't make any sense, which is why he's on the curve now. So it is what it is. So with that being said, you just got to say to yourself, man, why would he do that? But it has happened. But now it looks like things are going to be changing. So now who can turn on the dime and actually put out a V8 car for the next 4 years? Because you figure, unless they've been working on them for a little while, it's going to be a problem. So it looks like state emissions waivers that function to limit sales of gasoline-powered automobiles. That spells bad news for California and 17 other states that follow the California Air Resources Board zero emissions vehicle regulations. Now, for those that don't know, that's the CARB board. We can't stand them. We talked about them before. You probably seen their name on a lot of your performance part, CARB approved and all of that. Can't stand it. But it looks like they're getting rid of all of that. So that there's a lot of things to unpack there, because there's a lot of companies who got fined millions and billions of dollars for the things that they made for cars. Case in point, Cobb Tuning. Cobb Tuning got hit with like a $3.4 million fine from the EPA for making what they call defeat devices. We all know them. You hook them up in your car, you try to tune your auto. And if this thing is dead, do they get their money back? Do they win this case? Do they have to pay the $3.4 million? There's a lot of things riding on this, and this is what I mean. Autos has never intertwined with politics the way it is now. It has never done that before. And this seems to be a political battleground right now. And it seems like the only way that either side is going to agree is if at one point they just let people buy what they want. You shouldn't force nobody to be like, you know what? You have to get an electric vehicle because that's all that's being sold. You're forcing the companies. You have to put electric vehicles up. You have to make more and stop making gas-powered cars because this was happening. And now it's also hurting the workforce. It's hurting the workforce. Shout to SP said, even though these mandates are going away, we as car enthusiasts got to do our part and stop allowing the buffoonery in the streets. That's a fact. That's a fact. It's sad, some of the things that you see going on, because that also plays a part. They use that as a reason to say, oh, see what they do with this. Yeah, they do. The politicians use it. See what they're doing with this car. See what they're doing with it. Yeah, they use that against us. So we got to make sure that we on the up and up as far as us being enthusiasts and things like that. But I will say, the EV mandate that they were trying to implement had right to repair part of it. A lot of these things were tied up all in this one mandate because they didn't want you repairing your own car because they considered it piracy if you was able to upload into the ECU or plug up or tune it. So it's a very interesting ordeal here, man. I'm glad to see this at least. I don't know where this is going to go, but maybe there will be other cars to follow. I don't know how this affects all of the automakers, but it's going to affect them one way or the other. Maybe it'll benefit their pockets, maybe they won't. But in the meantime, we're going to talk about this last article right here. Now, this is very interesting. Texas sues Allstate, claims insurer illegally collected driver data. And when I say that, they used apps. They use mobile phone apps to scoop up data and hiked insurance rates as a result. Now, for those that don't know, we did talk about this one time before. It looks like third-party data was being sold to the insurance companies, and they was using that to raise insurance rates. We talked about this. It was probably a bombshell maybe about a year ago. So now it looks like Texas is going to be one of the first states to really sue their insurance company. So the state of Texas sued major insurance provider Allstate on Monday, accusing an analytics subsidiary of the company known as Arity of using illegal practices to monitor and track driver behavior. According to the New York Times, Arity, which has previously been touted as running the world's largest driving behavior database, has been accused of using third-party mobile phone apps such as Life 360 and Gas Buddy to collect data about driving behaviors. These data points, which include information on acceleration, braking, and phone usage, allegedly led to increased insurance rates for impacted motorists. The lawsuit states that the such action was done without the knowledge or consent of the users. Allstate and Arity paid mobile apps millions of dollars to install Allstate's tracking software. Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton said the personal data of millions of Americans was sold to insurance companies without their knowledge or consent in violation of the law. Texans deserve better, and we will hold all of these companies accountable. That is crazy. So just to get into a little bit, it looks like Texas is suing Allstate because they were collecting third-party data from a lot of these apps that we just put on our phones, like Gas Buddy. How many people had Gas Buddy, especially when Sandy hit and you really couldn't get no gas up here? People was using Gas Buddy to see the prices of the gas, and you'd use it sometime on road trips. And Life 360. So Life 360, a lot of people that I know a lot of people that actually use it, and they can actually always know where their family is by having the app running constantly in the background. You know what I mean? Have the app running in the background to constantly track you. So now it looks like they were in. Now we all know when you take any kind of app and you put it on your phone, we all have what we call terms and policies, terms and agreements, accept the user in agreement and terms. And we sometimes, without even reading it, just click it. And not for nothing, they purposely do that. And what they do is they put this in small print and they make it about 20 pages. So you scroll in and you see all of this. But if you look through there, a lot of times they say that they are selling your data. They are selling your data. I know y'all remember 23andMe and all these DNA things that people was using. They were selling your data. And they had to admit it. Shout to Jessica Grandy. That's actually not the cookies. That's actually your data. Like the cookies is pretty much like, it's like when you go to a website, you leave a cookie. So now what happens is they use that so that they can advertise it to you later. Social media, they advertise it in your Facebook and your Instagram and things. You start to see, you just searched it out on your website, on the browser, and now you start to see it in your social media. That's kind of really where the cookies are. You leave cookies and they use them so that they can track you, find your internet information and actually advertise to you over and over again. Now, this is a little different because they were using a lot of these apps to track drivers. So how many of y'all have really had insurance and next time you turn around, your insurance rates are through the roof and you can't understand why? And when you call the insurance company to find out why your insurance is through the roof, what do they tell you? Oh, well, that's just the rates for New York City. It's the rates have been given us because X, Y, and Z. And you're like, wait a minute. I haven't been in an accident in 20 years. Haven't got a ticket in 15 years. Bought a brand new car and I paid it off. It's mainly garage. I don't drive it. I normally take public transportation. Why is my insurance going up another $50 a month? Now you know why. Because all of these apps that you put on your phone, or let's say these tracking apps, and don't get it twisted. I could almost guarantee Google Maps and Waze and a lot of these other apps that you may use, even apps that you maybe even a Grubhub or a DoorDash, something that you use to find food or something like that. You never know what apps they are using. Who would have thought that they was using Gas Buddy? Gas Buddy? So because you're driving around frankly trying to find some gas, they using that as a reason to up your insurance? Shout to Texas for actually holding them accountable. The lawsuit filed in the District Court of Montgomery County claims that Arity has data on more than 45 million drivers. You know your name is in that. My name is in that. None of whom were informed about the company's continuous data collection and sales practices. In its own statement, the company maintains that none of its practices were illegal. Arity helps consumers get the most accurate auto insurance price after they consent in a simple and transparent way that fully complies with all laws and regulations, the company said. Do you hear this? This is what I mean about autos and politics intertwining. They're using the data to understand how to charge you. Now, we all seen these things with the insurance companies. You plug them into your OBD port and they monitor your driving. And with that, you get a lower rate. Y'all can't let's not even get into if they are using Apple's third party and people got Apple tags on their cars and they have the Google tags on their cars and they're using that data information. I mean, we know how deep the rabbit hole can go. That is definitely crazy. You know how it is. Shout to Marley. He said, my insurance told me because of people getting into accidents around where my cars are registered. Nonsense. That's a fact. It's all BS. At the end of the day, they are using data that they and a lot of people be like, yo, we're not going to plug the OBD port up. We're not going to do that for the insurance company. You still use your phone in the car. Your phone is about as accurate as I don't know what. How many times have you used Google Maps and it tells you exactly how fast you're going? That's how accurate these satellites are now. Shout to my guy Reeps. He said that's why cash and old school cars are the way. I'm telling you, because at the end of the day, they tracking it. They tracking it. And not only are they tracking it, they're not using the powers for good. They're using it strictly to benefit their pockets. And what is the most precious commodity in the world today. The most precious commodity we have out here is people and data. Because if you have data, if you have the information on a certain demographic of people or on a certain amount of people in this place and over here, you could surely figure out how you're going to sell something to them. That's crazy. Shout to Draco. My guy Draco tuned in. He said, jokes on them. The conquest old is not is old and non-functional, but your phone is. See, this is what I'm saying. Yeah, we want to rock with the older cars, but your phone is just as dangerous. And this is, see, like I said, we're gonna go down a rabbit hole. We don't want the Fed shutting the whole show off. But I will say at the end of the day, this is definitely, if you think Allstate is the only one doing this, I got a bridge in Brooklyn to sell you. State Farm, you up. The General, you up. Telling you, you're in good hands with Allstate. In other words, I'm in your pockets, Allstate. That's crazy. Shout to everybody who tuned in, paying attention. You know how we get down. They want your money. You already know what it is. Shout to Shy. Said your phone is a snitch and forever telling and forever listening. Apple just had to had a court case with that too, where Siri was listening. They found out Siri was listening, and it was using that information to target you, to target and advertise to you. This is crazy. Shout to my guy Reeves. He said, I get made fun of, but I shut down everything while I'm driving and use the tablet for everything during work. That is hilarious. Of course, people listen, at the end of the day, there's no way around it, in my opinion. Unless you never dived into none of this, if you have a social media, it is what it is. It's just the knowledge, just knowing that this is what it is, And things are getting more crazier. Think about in New York City, they got all these plate readers around the city. This is why you can't get away with nothing out here no more. Don't even try it. Plate readers and cameras, and they know who's moving. Why? Listen, if you think congestion pricing was only about pricing, I got a bridge in Brooklyn to sell you, because those are the biggest plate readers that they have that we see. So now if you come into the Midtown area, they know. This is what it is, man. Shout to everybody who's tuned in, paying attention. You know how we get down, man. We are here. It's the bearded one here. Shout to everybody who's rocking with us. Don't forget, drop a like, drop a comment so we can shout you out. Just want to shout out a couple people, man, that came by and dropped out a like. Shout to Tanya Gonzalez. Appreciate her. Shout to my guy Tiny. Shout to Sabrina. Shout to my guy Tom. Let's go. Shout to my guy John Ross. Shout to my moms and sisters. A whole bunch of people tuning in. I appreciate y'all. Don't forget, you know where to find us, man. YouTube, Rally Radio Podcast. That is where you can find us. We're going to put it here at the bottom. Boom. Don't forget, you know where to find us. YouTube, Rally Radio Podcast. With that being said, we're going to jump right into our next little segment of the show. I know that we actually kind of took this a little far, so we're going to skip one of these other segments. But we got a lot of things coming up here. Let's get right to it.
Driver's etiquette. Go. Because sometimes you got to get this off your chest.
Let's go. You already know what it is. Shout to everybody who's tuned in, paying attention. Shout to Draco. He said, get a Faraday case for your phone and your wallet. Yeah, I can hear that. The RFID blocker or something like that, so that they can't steal the signal and understand where you are. Listen, there's fixes and there's things that people are willing to do and a lot of people are not willing to do. But at the end of the day, This is what they doing. This is what they doing. They are getting over one way or the other. And we got to make sure that in the long run, we're being smart about this, because they're stealing your information. Stealing your information little by little. And it's like, you got to start looking at it like in other words, what are you really into? If you're not into nothing crazy, then you ain't got nothing to worry about. But I will say, at the end of the day, it's just the fact that they taking your data and selling it. They're not even cutting you in. The insurance company is doing all of this, and they're not even saying, you know what? Because we use your data so often, here is a discount. No, they just making more money, because now you figure if the insurance has your data, who are they selling it to? Who are they selling your data to? And this is why all of these electronic devices are like they really be pushing them. Here, buy this, buy that, buy the watch, buy the ring. You know what I mean? Here, buy the ring. We could check your vitals from here. Yeah, but once they see something going wrong, now all of a sudden you're getting heart medication advertisements, and you trying to figure out why. Because they know you. They know you about to drop. Let's see what we got on the phones. Rally Radio, who we got in the box?
You know what it is? You know who it is?
Shout to my guy Draco. What's going on, man? What it is?
Chilling. I'm trying to hobble this Yaris to AutoZone because the exhaust fell off.
Oh boy!
So I'm sounding like a racer, and I'm not a racer.
That is which car that you driving? You said the Kia?
No, hell, no, the Yaris, the gray car.
Oh boy, yeah, go get that fixed. You remember they used to sell that tape that you used to be able to tape your exhaust up with and all that?
That's exactly what I'm going to get. I'm going to get the clamps, and then I'm going to get the tape.
So, with that being said, Draco, first off, shout to you for tuning in while you on your drive. I got a question for you. How do you feel about these insurance companies collecting data like that? Do you would you be okay with it if it was a kickback for some money?
Nah, because what they can do with your information, first of all, I'm stingy. You're not going to make money off of me, and I'm not going to make money off of me.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So you're selling my information. My information is mine to sell.
There you go.
So for them to do that, I don't like. Second thing is, not only can they steer commercials your way,
yep,
they build a profile of who you are. And they can sell that to not just businesses for commercials, but to agencies, government agencies, CIA, FBI. You know, remember the TV show The Mentalist?
Yes.
They don't need that no more. If they got all that data, they can tell who you are, how you move, how you roll. You never know. They might roll up on you at Coney Island. How you don't know I'm at Coney Island?
We know you go there every Tuesday at 9:30.
Exactly.
That's crazy.
Exactly.
That is crazy.
It's suicide.
So,
but the thing I'm more concerned of, it's all a long range, I think, 20, 30 year setup. You see how people don't mind? They go, oh, I don't use it. They soften the people.
Yes.
The same way they softened us to take the jabby jab.
Right.
The same way they softened us to accept the Patriot Act and all these cameras. Usually when they say it's a matter of health.
Yes.
Or a matter of safety, and people nowadays are so soft, they lay down and take it.
The vernacular, but I hear you.
My bad.
I get it. It's a family show. We all good. But I will say this, right? I think you're 1,000% right. I think that what's happening is, especially when you look at a lawsuit like this, and why is this not everywhere? Why is it that nobody, because a lot of people that I spoke to about it, they look at me like I got two heads. Pause. They looking at me like, how did you know that? I'm like, what do you mean? It's all in the news, but a lot of people are not paying attention.
They don't pay attention, and the media that they consume conditions them not to question nothing, just to lay down and take.
Woo! It's okay, but
just to, you know what I mean. So it's partly the people's fault too. I mean, I was raised. Everything that's yours is yours.
Right.
You don't give away nothing.
Right.
And so when the person comes to me, oh, it's just useless data. It's not useless. If it was useless, they wouldn't use it.
There you go. If it was useless, they wouldn't care. They'd be like, nah, we don't need it. It's not useless.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
Yeah,
That's a fact.
Man.
I will say this, however, though, right? At the end of the day, when you look at a lot of these different things, I will always say that once, and you're right, it was a 20, 30 year long game. Pause. They was they built this up with the Nextels. Because remember before that, I'm pointing all of that. These phones was like, you had the prepay, go get your card out the store. And then from there, they started Nextel. And then once Nextel, they was like, yo, the government owns Nextel. Cats deaded them phones, but it was too late. because now that started the transition from that to smartphones to all PDAs and all kind of different things, but they was using to gather your data. So now we so knee deep that there's nothing you know what I mean?
Like an episode of The Wire. Throw away them phones.
Yo, you know what's funny? But they still got the wire up off them phones.
There you go.
They still able to take them prepaid phones and get the wire up. Crazy.
That's why, not to be political, when Hillary destroyed those servers, she didn't just unplug them and disassemble them. She threw them in acid, and they were still able to pull information.
That's a fact. Wow.
Technology can kill you.
That is a fact. And not for nothing, we all see how technology brings down a lot of these crimes.
We're not up on it. Not I say we, the people, not criminal elements. They still running around talking all their business on the phone. That's how Tekashi's manager got taken down.
Right.
He was just gabbing boldly about what they were going to do on the South. You notice they stopped those prepaid phones you get at Walmart?
Yeah.
When you get them, you have to register. You can't just walk off the street, buy one, and fill it and do your thing.
Word. You got to and I remember, I'm telling you, one of the very first cell phones I ever had was an OmniPoint, John. Shout out to, rest in peace to my guy, Kerry, man. Me and him, we was like, he said, we need to have a cell phone. I said, all right, let's go to the cell phone store. They was like, nah, y'all can have that one. A whole brick that you have to take the back.
I got one better. My Maroon Conquest, I had a Motorola.
Wow.
Mobile.
Wow. In the car.
Like an army dude walking around with it on my strap, on my shoulder.
Yo, that's hilarious, Draco. Yo, Draco, where you at now? You almost there.
I'm in AutoZone now.
All right, listen. Go ahead and do what you got to do, man. We appreciate you for tuning and calling in. Despite the fact that you going to get a quick fix for that Yaris and you're going to be fixing it again next week.
You're right.
Shout to Draco. Yo, we appreciate the call, man. You already know what it is. We're going to finish strong here.
All right. Cool. Later.
Right, peace. Shout to the AutoZone's advances. It looks like we're going to be losing some advances, but AutoZone seem to still be doing what they got to do. But sometimes you just need the quick fix. I'll keep it a buck, man. Sometimes, listen, you don't want to go buy a whole full exhaust for the hoopty. Come on. I just need to replace this. I just need to get a little section right here so it's not making a lot of noise. Shout out to my guy, Draco, man. Shout out to everybody who tunes in, who rocks with us, man. We got some great listeners. I appreciate everybody. We appreciate y'all for tuning in with us. With that being said, we got a couple of things we're going to talk about here before we move forward. This is actually hilarious to me. It looks like Dodge is now doing what they call a Badassador program. Now, this obviously has Tim Kaniskis written all over it. So it looks like you can apply to become a Dodge Badassador, but you probably aren't bad enough, right? So it looks like what they really trying to do, they want all the influencers, all the YouTube influencers, specialists, things like that have a following. They want them to rep the Dodge brand as an official Dodge Badassador to your existing audience on your existing social platforms. Develop and pitch your original content to Dodge representatives. Fulfill a schedule of original Dodge Badassador content created by you. Grow your audience. Earn the opportunity to have your content shared on Dodge's official platform and advance your influencer status and experience. So in other words, they want you, and this is all for this new Dodge EV. They want you to take this car on and actually talk about it and actually bring it out. Obviously, it's the influencer game. This is nothing new. The reason I say this has Tim Kaniskis written all over it, they did another thing like this when they was doing the last call for the Dodgers. They called them the I forget what they called, what the name of the title of the position was at that time. The donut, it was called the donut CEO or something like that. But they wanted you to go out with them and pretty much use your social media platform to help them let's say sell these cars. You know what I mean? So now it looks like Dodge trying to do the same thing. I don't know if they're going to get as many people as they had to jump on and do this. But to me, it's just another ploy. At the end of the day, we know that this car is just not good. I mean, I've done a reel on it. If you get a chance, check it out. It's on YouTube on our Rally Radio podcast channel. And I talk about it. For the most part, it looks like a cruise boat. A lot of people are not feeling this Dodge EV, but I guess they're going to do what they got to do. Now, will they put a gas engine in it? If they do, we could be looking at something totally different. That could be a different feel for this Dodge Charger. But as far as I'm concerned, as long as it's an EV, the question is always going to remain. Do you want performance or are you trying to save the planet? I mean, like, I don't know. Like, I never understood anybody talking about, y'all want a performance electric vehicle. Like, it's an oxymoron to me. It just doesn't make sense. Shout out to everybody who's tuned in paying attention. Shout out to Marlon. He said, I call it stealing zone. You better compare prices when that place inflation is real in there. He talking about shout out to Reep said, I hope they're giving the car away for free if that's the case. I would like to believe that they're going to give you one if they bring you in, but what does your following have to be to even qualify for something like that? I mean, I know there's a couple of the YouTube channels, Mopar channels. Oh, you got TK's Garage, actually pretty good. I do listen to. I am subscribed to his, and you also have Demonology, avid drag racer, and a Dodge influence, I would like to say. And then you have Mod the Fame. Shout out to him. You always see him also with his Mopars. Those are great channels if you can check them out. I just don't know. I don't know what's going to happen here. Maybe this could be for the six-cylinder turbo version. That I believe that would probably be the better sale, because I believe people already kind of know what they want to do with these things. But that V6 turbo, I believe it's more of a buzz and more of an interest than it is for this electric vehicle version. And the fact that they want to wait now, obviously this EV, the Dodge Charger Daytona EV, does not have line lock. Doesn't have line lock. And they're talking about in order for it to have line lock to do burnouts, they're going to put it on the later SRT version. So it's going to cost you more. The sticker price on this car is $77,000. So you're going to actually put it on a car that cost, I mean, like, how much are we talking? Now we talking about $100,000 for an electric vehicle? I mean, I can't understand it. I don't think that's something that I'll be able to do. But I mean, you got some people out here that really love those cars, but not me. I'm sorry. I just can't spend that much on something like that. It's not that I'm not a believer in Dodge, the brand, especially now that Tim Kuniskis is back. But we just got to hold on, wait and see. I mean, they never put the Hellcat engine out of commission. So because they carried them along in the Dodge Durango, there's a good chance that we're going to get a V8 powered car once again. Manual might be pushing it, but there's a good chance that we're going to get a Dodge Hemi-powered 6.2 liter V8 supercharged in another car. From what I understand, I heard it was going to be called the Barracuda. Who knows? I know he's reaching out there, but with that being said, shout out to everybody who's tuned in, paying attention. We're going to jump right on. We got a lot of other things going on. Here we go.
Driver's etiquette. Because sometimes you got to get this off your chest.
All right, with our driver's etiquette, you know where we at today, man. It's going to be very interesting today, as usual, man. Shout out to everybody who's tuned in, paying attention. Well, let's get into it a little bit. It's cold outside, but I'm looking forward to the warm weather. The drives are going to be epic. Too much time wasted. Now, shout out to everybody who's tuned in, paying attention. Now, last year, you know, we didn't get a chance to take it to the Dragon's Tail because, and we didn't get a chance to do a couple drives because the weather was just inconsistent last year. But there's a lot of things that I'm saying in that. First off, I want to say shout to my guy Draco, because he actually said something to me that made so much sense that I just was like, you know what, man, he is 1,000% right. He said, listen, get to the CRX, get to your build, because soon, before you know it, you're gonna be a old man or trying to build this CRX. You know, I took that to heart when he said that. He said that, I want to say he said it last year to me, and since then, you know, I just kind of put the project on fast track. So there's a couple things that I'm working on with the car right now. Obviously, like I said, on stands, ready to go. It's just doing a lot of work, and I'm back into the chase for the parts and the work, and me going out there putting the rotors and pads on the Type R was me actually stepping foot back into working. Now I can't front, when I chose to do it, the weather was horrible, but did run into a hiccup with the Type R rear brake with the electric brake. But I'm just like, it is what it is. But the more I think about what he said, too much time wasted. Too much time wasted. Shout to Draco for that, man. If you listening, shout to Draco. He's right. He's right. And when I get this thing out there, I'm driving this thing. So right now, it's a lot of work to do, but there's a lot of drives and things that we're going to be taking part on this season. Now, obviously, we're going to have our season opener car meet for Rally Radio Podcast. Shout to everybody. We're going to drop dates and information. If you're not a member of the group already, don't forget, we're going to put the group down here. Gutter Ball Rally or Gutter Ball Rally, the community Facebook group. That is who we are. Gutter Ball Rally Facebook, the community group. You can see it right here. Make sure that you can see it for everybody to see. If you get a chance, send us a request so you can get down with the group. If you're listening, Gutter Ball Rally, the community Facebook group. We are out there. We are. It's public, so you can find it, but the group is private, so you can find us. But obviously, you know, we to put us down. We want to make sure that you're a car person and not somebody trying to sell us something. So you already know what it is. Gutter Ball Rally, the community Facebook group. But with that being said, we got a lot of jobs. There's a lot of things that I'm looking forward to this next year coming around, man. But I would definitely say a lot of the car shows, and that's why I love going to a great auto show or a great car show, because sometimes you just leave with a lot of inspiration. I believe there's going to be a lot more inspirational builds. Last year, when we went to a lot of these car shows, I didn't see anything too inspirational. I really didn't. I can't lie. It made me really look at the aftermarket with the side eye. Like, maybe there's a lot of things that are not for sale anymore, but I guess it's what constitutes a build to a lot of people. You know, when we started this thing, or when I got into the automotive or the car game or whatever, a build was a serious thing. I mean, you had to, it wasn't just enough to put rep wheels and, you know, cut your springs and get a wing from another car and put it on here. No, you really had to do a lot to build your car to be accepted in the community as a build. You know what I mean? So I just really, really took a look around last year with some of the places we went. And, you know, sometimes you end up at that car meet where ain't nothing but hoopties outside and ain't nobody happy about that. But then sometimes you find these gems where it's like, you know what? Nobody really knows about this today. It's like today was a real quiet day, but these builds are tremendous. So this year, I definitely want to get out to more of that. I want to get out to more builds. I want to see more. I definitely want to take a couple road trips to some of these other places to see what they're building and what's going on in their automotive world, because the more you start to realize, like, by demographic, the car shows change. I looked at a video from Houston. Oh, man. And it looked like the Houston car show is more about how far out the rim, your rims poke out. Like, I just found that to be interesting. I was like, I wonder if they let them do that to their cars. Because, I mean, you're taking on more than one lane at that point. And then I started looking, obviously, Texas 2K. I want to make it there one day too. But the real reason I'm talking about a lot of this is because stop wasting time. Stop wasting time. And especially now, where you start to see a lot of the autos of old disappear, and you're starting to see the change in the culture and the change. It's like I see it and I'm like, oh man, I'll tell you, nothing is worse than regret. And a lot of times you sit back and you say to yourself, man, I really wish I could have that time back to go to that hot import nights and see that I only been I want to say when Hot Import Nights was out, I believe I went 2 times. I really wish I had went to more. I really wish I had frequented Englishtown more. I wish I'd have went, to all of these things more. And it's like now that they're dying down, we miss them. And it's just a harsh reality. Like, we got to make sure that we are definitely sponsoring the car community. So with that being said, you got to keep that in mind. You're going to have a lot of different car shows popping up, and we're going to have a lot of different things going on. But let's just make sure that we sponsor and we go out there and we assist ourselves, because you're starting to see a lot of these things fall off. Racetracks. A lot of racetracks are being sold because the land is not, the taxes on the land is more than what they're making when they throw events. Is that our fault? Yes. We need to support. We need to support what we love. You love it, support it. You know what I mean? Shout to my guy, Zoom for Zoom, tuning in. It's all right, kid. You already know what it is. And shout to Weep. She said we're getting older and we're waiting too long, and then we finally want to do it. It hurts. That's a fact, man. I can't front. And it's like, we got to really keep that in mind. Don't forget, drop a like, drop a comment so we can shout you out. We got to make sure that we're taking full advantage, man. When this next summer come around, when it start getting warm, I'm already seeing flyers for different shows, different car shows, different events. I'm going. Barring me having to do anything else that falls in the realm of being more important. So family, things like that. If I don't have anything that I have to do with my family, whatever, I want to make sure that I'm there. So what I'm gonna do is, for the community group, I'm gonna make sure we create this calendar. Who we got on the phone? Let's see. Rally Radio. Who we got in the box?
Yo, it's been a minute since I called.
I got Dr. Phil. Is that Dr. Phil?
It's her.
What's going on, Doc? What's popping?
Ain't nothing.
I know you see the title up
there. Glad you back, man. I said kind of missed you last week, bro.
Yo, did you see what happened?
I saw the headache you went through.
Yo, that dash was crazy. I'm still going through it. I just got here a different way.
Man, for everybody, if y'all don't have an impact driver when you do your brakes, go pick yourself up one, because if not, you're gonna be drilling out them screws like Pop had to do.
Yo, and you want to laugh, right? I have pretty much got through everything. Took the wheel off.
Yeah.
And when I got to the road, I just looked at it. I said, why would they put a screw?
Mm-hmm.
And I get it that it comes like that. But when I started looking around on the internet, because, I had to find a little fix, I found these screws that have Allen keys. They take.
Yeah.
I'm like, why would they not use this?
I done seen those round out too.
So
I done seen those round out too.
In your honest opinion, right? Do you even put the screws back in the rotor?
I didn't for a really long time, but as I said, now that I bought an impact driver, and since then it's been super smooth getting them out. Because how an impact driver works is you hit it with a hammer. Yes. It's literally a screwdriver that you hit it with a hammer. What that does is it doesn't round out the screw, because the impact from the hammer jaws it loose. Yeah. The impact from the hammer jaws it loose. So you just knock it with a mini sledge a couple of times, and the screw comes right out.
Shout to Zoom for Zoom. He said, "I'd never put those rotor screws back in." Yo, if you had to, Phil, did you see the size of the hole that I had to drill in that rotor?
I saw. And I said, I've been through it more than enough times. I saw that hole drilled out. I knew immediately what that was, because I tell you, I've definitely spent. I had to go to the hardware. I had to go to Home Depot to go buy more drill bits one time.
Really?
Because the drill bit broke. Go buy more drill bits so I can continue drilling the damn screws out.
And I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna tell you the truth. I really was like trying to not do that. I tried my hardest for that not to happen, and that's why I was so mad. And then I had to. So I have an impact drill and driver, but like drill. So what I did was I it's the connection for the drill bits. Unless you have a real drill, like a real drill, it's not gonna work. Yeah. So I had to go to the hardware store and buy the drills that fit on that's on like a certain bit. Oh my God, it turned into a whole thing.
A whole project.
And now, check this out. Now that I'm done, now it's like a electric parking brake issue. Yo, I can't win. So right now I'm set up with the Honda dealership to go there Monday, February 3rd. But I'm still gonna try, like, because what it is now, I believe, is that the parking brake has to be calibrated because electric parking brake.
Yeah, them electronic parking brakes are always kind of funny.
And I mean, I'm pissed off about it, but I learned something. But you know what? It led me to this driver's etiquette that we was talking about, that I was just talking about. I had to get my hands dirty again. I had to get used to it.
Yeah, no doubt.
You feel what I'm saying? So,
you picked a hell of a weekend to do it. You picked the weekend to do it, bro, because
it was freezing out there, kid.
Freezing.
It was freezing. And you know what's funny? We talking about we was about to go into this Arctic blast that we just had, pause, where it was gonna be 20 degrees and 15 degrees. And I said, I gotta do this before that. I gotta do this. And not for nothing, Phil, I done bought the pads, rotors, and I'm like, if I take this to the dealership, I know they're gonna try to play me. But I said, let's give it a shot. Man, I was out there. Ask my wife, she was out. She would come out the door and check on me. I'm sitting on the floor. Like, can I just manhandle this rotor off? That's neither here nor there, though. Quick, fast. Shelby GT 350. I knew when I posted this, I knew you was going to call. Same thing with Jay. I knew when I talked about them Lexus, he's going to call. What's your thoughts on the Shelby GT 350? The new
this isn't anything that Shelby American. This isn't anything new that Shelby American hasn't done before. That's basically what they are now. They're pretty much a glorified. Well, I mean, yeah, they're pretty much a glorified tuner. They're not making their own cars anymore. They're having for more than a few years since the Shelby Series 1 in the 90s. I mean, it is what it is, I guess. What I say about the new GT350 is, other than the body kit, you can probably build it in your garage for cheaper.
So that's the conversation. That's the conversation we was having. But it's still under warranty like this.
It is, but I mean, is the warranty worth $100? You know this is going to be like $130,000, maybe about 40, about 50, probably.
They said
worth that?
They said 110. So you already know, right? Look, 110, but we know it's going to get bumped, right?
Of course.
110,000.
110 is for the naturally aspirated one.
Right? Is it?
No. You know, there's two. There's a supercharged. They're selling it naturally aspirated, and they're selling one with a blower on it.
I thought the one with the blower, that's the one with 810 horsepower. I thought that one was 110.
Yeah. You
trying to tell me that's not? Wow, I got to do my homework. I thought that was the one for 110,000.
Oh nah. Regular Shelby Mustangs are always super expensive.
So at that point, no.
A Shelby Super Snake, I believe, was $130.
Yes, it was up there. It was up there. My thing is, right, is this leading to more things to come from Ford? Paul?
No.
Or is this?
Well, for Ford, there's a bit of an uproar in the Ford community right now because Ford recently retrademarked the Boss name.
Okay.
So now it's looking like Ford Performance is looking to get away. Well, Ford Performance have been said since the last generation that they're looking to get away from, you know what I'm saying, trade using the trademark Shelby name
Okay.
for the performance vehicles. That's why this new one, the Dark Horse, is in a Shelby, but it's the Dark Horse is essentially Dark Horse is essentially like a Mach 1,
right.
really. But
right.
They recently trademarked the Boss name again. So if you remember the Boss 302 back in 2011 and 2012.
Yes.
The classic back from 68 to 70, the Boss 302s and the 429s.
Yes.
We're waiting to see what they want to do with that.
So
because
the reason I say that, right, is because remember, politics and autos are playing they was playing a way that we never seen before. But now Trump is back in office. So you know how he feel about the EV mandate. First thing he done bang bang, we getting rid of this, right?
That's out the window, yeah.
So now this is why I'm saying, like, maybe they came out just to let y'all know that they still building them. But I think this next 4 years, we about to get some savages with the American muscle cars. But I could be wrong. What's your thought?
I mean, we gonna see. We gonna see, because I mean, Dodge is looking at the Dodge should trademark the Barracuda a couple months back.
So I've been talking about that for a little while, and they finally continue on.
Yeah. So remember another another one of the Mopar channels I follow, named Butter the Insider.
Okay.
Basically, he's the dude who put fire to Stellantis dealers for what they were doing in terms of all the problems that they were having with Demon 170 motors popping.
Damn, they was blowing them engine. Oh, he was the one that really. Yeah. Oh,
yeah, the dude with the braids. Yeah, he basically him, Racer X, as you said, TK's Garage.
Yes.
Yeah, a lot of those Mopar guys. So watching their channels, they said that there's whispers of a new V8 that was in development when Tim Kuniskis retired the first time.
Yes.
That they kind of put on ice until Carlos Tavares got ousted. Now it's on the fast track to finish it. It's a 4.9 small block.
Hold on, before you can I just get a clap for that? Let's go. I gotta look. I gotta get my credit right for this new V8.
Yeah. So,
but I gotta say, I think that at the end of the day, I feel like Ford is just putting this out now. Not Ford, excuse me, Shelby. Sorry. Shelby's putting this out now. But I think that what is really saying is that there's other things on the way up that we're gonna be really happy with. That's what I really think.
We're gonna see. We're gonna see.
We're gonna see. Dr. Phil, you already know we appreciate the call, my guy.
Always.
We appreciate the call. I said, where Phil been at, man? I ain't mad, man. I'm telling you, after working on this car and busting up my knuckles a little bit and get cold.
Yeah, the knuckles ain't that.
Yo, son, it was a point I went and sat in the car mad. I just went and sat in the car. I was pissed off. I was like, yo, why? And then it happened on both sides, Phil.
Of course. Of course it did.
I was working on that car till like 8 o'clock at night, man. I was out there with the lamp on my forehead. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah.
I got two. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yo, Dr. Phil, you already know what it is, man. We gonna finish strong in here, man. Yo, good to hear from you. You already know what it is, man.
Yeah.
Stay tight, cause we freaking gonna have some drives coming up, man. We got some things coming up. I see a lot of guys are putting out their events. We want to go to their events, but we're gonna have a couple just for us too. So stay tight. You already know what it is, man.
All day. Make time for the autos, man. Make time for the autos.
We gotta make autos great again. Let's go. Oh boy, a lot of problems right there.
Hey, that's a MAGA I could get behind. Oh.
Yo, all right, Phil, later.
All right. Peace.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell y'all, man. I was working on this car, man. Like I said, the driver's etiquette, man. Oh man, I mean, I really was out there, and it, like I said, it just gotta stop. I, not y'all. I mean, at the end of the day, I have to stop wasting time. Shout to my guy Shy. He said just found out an event, local low car event here. Gonna be taking that day off. The old guy that had the CRX had to sell it, so enjoy it now. That's what I'm saying, man. Car's low too. I was like, oh man, I went to get in that CRX, man. I felt I was sitting on the ground, bro. I said I got to get used to this. Shout to Zoom. He said it was -14. He up there in the mountains. And shout to Reeves. He said it was 15, negative 15 in PA. And shout to Zoom. He said -14. Boy. He said we all had those sit in the car mad moments contemplating. Like this was just brakes. This wasn't even like I could see if you were trying to get like the clearance numbers on pistons or something. You really trying. I could see something more involved, but it was just brakes, and it just goes to show, man. I was like, yo, I ain't putting this screw back, man. Shout to Zoom for Zoom because he was right about that. I was like, yo, I put these things on, man. Tire holding on, man. It is what it is, man. Shout to everybody who's tuned in, paying attention. Now we get down, man. We here at Rally Radio. With that being said, we got one more or two more things before we get up out of here. You already know what it is. We're going to hit y'all with this next little thing. Here we go.
Legends of Auto. Real legends never die.
All right, now. Our Legends of Auto today is going to be the Ford Shelby GT 350R. Now, we've talked about this car numerous times before. I'm going to tell you right now, the fact that I even brought it up is because they just came out with the Shelby GT 350. They are saying that they're going to come out with an R version to this, so it should be accompanying it. But the GT 350R, we all know one of the better things about that car was the flat plane crank V8 that was in it. High revving. So obviously, that's really just the point. Like, the Shelby GT 350, the reason a lot of people were like, was kicking it is because it doesn't have that engine. It has the engine, the Coyote engine, and they really wanted, the flat plane crank V8 voodoo. So it's like, well, it is what it is. But the GT 350R was unveiled at the 2015 North American International Auto Show. It sports various differences from the GT 350 on which it is based, including carbon fiber wheels weighing approximately 15 pounds apiece, less than the GT 350's aluminum wheels, a larger front splitter, a fixed rear wing, the latter two of which help improve downforce and bring the car's weight balance closer towards the rear. In addition, items like AC, stereo, trunk, floorboard, carbon, and rear seats and backup camera have been removed to save up to 130 pounds or 59 kilograms from the GT350. The GT350R engine is the same 5.2-liter V8 flat plane crank Voodoo V8 engine from the GT350 with a total of output of 526 horsepower and 429 foot-pounds of torque. The GT350R is capable of 0 to 60 in 3.8 seconds and a top speed of 169 miles per hour. Now, as far as we getting all of that, that's part of the brochure. I always got to talk about my own past experiences. So one time I'm driving my Type R. I was coming from, I believe I was coming from Manhattan. I was on the LIE. And I don't know if y'all probably know where I'm talking about, where it's like you cross that, what's that, Kosciuszko Bridge? You cross the bridge, and then you could, fade to the right to get on the LIE to take it the rest of the way going towards Queens and Long Island. So as I'm driving, and I'm driving I'm in the zone, you know how we do, we having fun. And I just see this set of lights. I'm like, what is this? Pulls up on the side of me. It's an Asian fellow, older gentleman too, fully rolled, caged out, GT 350R. I had never seen one in the street. So I'm like, I got the Type R, but the Type R is stock. Yes, it's stock, but it's still a very formidable car, in my opinion. So what I do, I put it in R+. I look at this guy, this Asian fellow, me and him, we turn the corners, and we looking at the straight, and before I could react, he just had a big smile on his face. He just big smile, and then he drops a gear, and the way that this engine sounded, oh my goodness. I think if there was one other car after that quick interaction, I said to myself, that's one of them kind of cars that you're never going to get rid of. If I was able to run into one of those for a good price, I would have to buy it. You have to buy it. That is a car that you have to buy if you ran across it for a good price. Shelby GT 350R. And this one was beautiful too. And I didn't get a chance to talk to him outside of us yelling at each other out the window, like, But other than that, man, that was my only interaction really with one of those. And I got to say, that was ridiculous. That was ridiculous. So if they are going to make something like that with that flat plane crank V8 in it, I'm all for it. Shout to Zoom for Zoom. Shout to Dr. Phil. Upstairs he was. Oh man, I was like, I never, like from a Mustang, to me it was from a Mustang too. I looked at Shelby GT, but I never heard that. I was like, I mean up close and personal. I don't mean like, maybe somebody on a drag strip or whatever. I mean somebody driving it right next to you, and then to see how he moved off, because obviously he was gone after that. I gotta say, the Shelby GT 350R is a car I would really want. I'm sorry. I would definitely forego any other kind of car for that because of that interaction right there. So with that being said, Shelby 2015 Shelby GT 350R is
Legends of Auto. Real legends never die.
Shout to my guy Ryan for tuning in. He said, so he took me to Gapplebee's. He took me to Gapplebee's and left me with the bill. Crazy. I gotta be honest. Man. He took off, dropped the hammer, and was out of there. Took me to Gapplebee's and left me with the bill, man. So, I'm going to the bathroom. Next time I see he was outside. It was crazy. I'm telling you. Shout to Reeves. Here we go again. Muscle beats import every time. Listen, come on. But I'm going to say that right there was a great, like, I just that one time, seeing that car that one time, I'm like, man, if I ever came across one of those for a great price, I'm buying it. It's going to be one of those, like, buy. Like, if he says, oh, I want $60,000, buy. Like, you're not trying to negotiate a price for that. Like, you got to already know what you're getting your hands on. That was, I'm going to tell you, one of the many few interactions I've had with supercars. But I have had my run-in with some, especially in this Type R, that I was just, like, impressed by. But with that being said, how we get down, man. We about to be coming to the end of the show. We got one more segment that we like to do here. With that being said, let's get to it.
It's the Understeer.
What up?
Where we like to ask, what the hell were you thinking?
Shout out to my guy Zoom for Zoom. He said, left me with the bill. I'm telling you, I was like, damn, like, it was a beautiful car, great experience. But with that being said, our Understeer today. Ah, man, this is crazy. Driving 151 mile-an-hour BMW M5 crash that killed 6 at the age of 17 has been sentenced to 12 years. The young driver, who was facing up to 90 years in jail if he went to trial, had posted videos to social media of him speeding to 182 miles an hour. We're talking about an F10 too. We're talking about the F10 M5. 20-year-old from Florida has been sentenced to over 12 years behind bars after he crashed the BMW M5 into another car in early 2022, killing 6 people. He had been staring down a maximum sentence of 90 years in prison if the case with the child, but decided to strike a plea deal with prosecutors instead. The widely publicized fatal crash occurred on January 27, 2022. At the time, 17-year-old Noah Thomas Galley, the son of Wellington attorney, was driving a 2019 BMW M5 he had reportedly purchased for $100,000 in cash. Driving on the U.S. Route 441, Galley lost control of the high-powered sedan and slammed into the back of a Nissan Rogue. The collision was so violent that it crumpled the rear of the SUV into the passenger compartment and pushed the vehicle several feet forward. The Rogue then careened into the center median and rolled multiple times. The crash killed 6 occupants inside of it. Miralane Giulicini, I don't want to chop up no names, so we'll just leave it at that. It killed 6 occupants, and it looks like he definitely was on social media, TikTok, all these other places, saying how he was hitting all kind of speeds with this thing, 182 miles an hour. To avoid going to trial, Galley pled guilty to 6 counts of vehicular homicide and will serve 12 years and 180 days in prison. 7 years probation will follow his sentence, and he'll lose his license for 3 years. He must also perform 800 hours of community service, undertake a 12-hour driving course, attend a victim panel, and post a video to social media advocating for safe driving. The victims' families have written to us that they did not object to the plea and they were okay with it. But at the end of the day, this is what we mean about having a car like this and not totally respecting and understanding the power that you're dealing with. He was 17 years old with a BMW M5 that he paid $100,000 cash. You know he got the bread from his daddy. What does he do? He take it to the social media, take it to Instagram. He out here wilding, crashes into the back of an SUV with 6 other people in it, kills everybody in the car. And at the end of the day, he got to deal with that. He got to deal with that. And this is why we even created the Understeer. Because it's not about what you do, it's how you get caught doing it. And not for nothing, after he got into this accident, they went on his TikTok and his Instagram and see, oh, he just wilding. So with that being said, Noah Thomas Galley,
It's the Understeer.
What up?
Where we like to ask, what the hell were you thinking?
I don't know. To me, that's crazy. And like I said, you see these Squeeze Benz and all these other cats like that, yo, eventually you got to pay the piper. Even if they don't pause, even if they don't pay now, they're going to have to pay sooner or later. And I mean, this is crazy. This is crazy. Shout to my guy, Dorian, in the building. Shout to my guy. With that being said, we've reached the end of the show. Shout to everybody who's tuned in, who's paying attention, who's rocking with us. You know how we get down. Exhaust notes. Rock with us this summer, man. We got a lot of car things that we're going to be doing. We're going to be driving these cars. We're going to be taking them on real rally runs. Right now, we're going to be doing a lot of these things on a Sunday morning. That's probably the better time. It's going to be a little less busy. But we also going to be having some Saturday night ordeals, man. Don't get it twisted. Get your car ready, whatever you need. If you need brakes, get that. If you need exhaust tape, Draco, get that. If you need anything that you need to make sure that you're on the road, because we are definitely going to be outside this summer. Don't stop wasting time. Stop wasting time. Whatever you want to do, do it. Stop wasting time. One thing about us auto guys, we be like, yo, if I just need that one more part, if I just keep it off the road, I can save money. Next thing you know, something else happens in life. Stop wasting time. Put the car together, drive it. I'm actually talking to myself. I'm actually that guy. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, shout to everybody who's tuned in, paying attention, man. We appreciate y'all. Shout to Zoom for Zoom. He said that's the problem in cars like that being automatic. That is a fact. Can't control it. All jokes aside, this is why I decided to sell a Camaro and not give it to the kid. Too much power for a young kid. That's a fact. This kid, oh man, 6 people dead just off the way he was driving. That's sad. With that being said, shout to everybody who rocked with us today. We appreciate y'all. You already know what it is. Shout to everybody who came out with us today, man, and was rocking with us. Shout to my guy, Camacho. Shout to my guy, the Crown Hornet. As usual, tuned in. Let's go. Shout to my guy Reeps, RX7. Shout to everybody who rocked with the SP Ricard, Draco, Zoom for Zoom. Shout to my guy Simeon. Oh man, there's so many people that. Shout to Jessica Grandy, tuned in. Shout to my guy Tiny. Shout to the resident Toyota guy Marlon. Shout to everybody who rocked with us today, man. It was definitely a record, so we had fun. Shout to Dr. Phil. Like I said, Zoom for Zoom. Shout to Paul, you already know what it is. Shout to everybody who dropped a like. Shout to Mark Alexander, my uncle. Shout to Ryan. Shout to Cliff. Shout to Courtney. Shout to Tonya. Shout to everybody who rocked with us this morning. We appreciate y'all early. You already know what it is, man. You know where to find us. Saturdays, 12 noon, YouTube, Rally Radio Podcast. Do not forget to download the Bars and Hoops Radio app. You can find us on there Saturdays at noon, Rally Radio Podcast. So with that being said, I appreciate all of y'all. We will be back. I apologize for not being here last week, but I really tried my hand at the mechanic, and it's really going to be going down. I don't care what y'all say. Just don't laugh at me. And like I said, all gaffes, don't forget, send y'all requests to the Gutter Ball Riley, the community group. We'll make sure that we let you in. So with that being said, until next week, I am out.
Drop the clutch, hit the gas. Rally Radio, where the fast life meets the fast lane.
Yeah.
You're now tuned into Bars and Hoops Radio. Where the world of hip-hop and sports live.
Dropping the clutch and then I hit the gas. Wheels screeching, tires burning, I'm flying past. Gotta get home quick, don't wanna miss the class. They schooling you on whips and how to make them fast. Talking about everything from cars to planes. What's hot, what's next, and how to flip the game. They talk in my language, we speak the same. That whip talk complex, but yet they keep it plain. From the news, the interviews, they keep it cool. They give reviews, everything from parts to tunes. Can't lose, come to whips, they not no fools. Don't miss the show, the start time is noon. The bearded one, S.I Shawn, they crazy though. You can't miss it, tune in to Rally Radio.
Where the fast life meets the fast lane.